Welcome to a brand new DFINITY Pill podcast episode. My name is Alex, and today we have another special guest. ICP Jesse is here with us. So hello, welcome, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
Thanks for having me, Alex. I'm stoked to be here.
Before we dive deeper into your upcoming NFT project, I know that you are a very prominent figure in the IC community and that you contribute a lot to the growth of our network through media. So I'll start with a couple of questions about yourself and what you do for ICP first, and then we can dabble into TacoNFTs if that's cool.
Excellent, thanks.
Before we go, I want to say that I've watched a couple of episodes that you and Kyle do together, and I want to congratulate the both of you for what you're doing, like the synergy that you guys have and get your points across. I think that's very good. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoy your show too. We are fellow ICP broadcasters in arms together here. So I'm glad we could come together at this ICP podcasting summit. And as I'm sure you know, the whole trick is editing to hide all of our mistakes. I'll end up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, definitely. I think there is like a ton more editing like with me than it is for you guys.
Because we're lazy, you do it the hard way with video, and we take the easy way out with just audio. So I had to break out the camera to come visit you out here in fancy video podcast land.
Really love your setup, by the way.
Thank you.
How did you guys meet, you and Kyle?
Kyle and I met through the ICP community. So I first became, really professionally involved with the internet computer last December. So I actually joined DFINITY as an outside marketing contractor. So I was hired to promote the ecosystem and help grow the platform. And so the way that happened is I responded to a tweet that Dominic put up, and Dominic reached back out to me, and I had an interview, and we were off to the races. And so I met Kyle very quickly. I subscribed to his Substack. I followed him on Twitter and realized that he was one of the sharpest minds in the internet computer. And so I invited him on. I do a weekly Twitter space with Crypto is Good, Daniel. And we invited Kyle on, and that was my secret tryout. I didn't even tell Kyle that I wanted to invite him to do a podcast. I just secretly said, hey, come do this. And I felt like we had a really great rapport. And what I wanted on the show was differing opinions so we could kind of bounce off each other. So Kyle is so smart. He's a data analyst by trade and really, really looks deeply. I feel like I describe him as he's like Neo in the Matrix. He looks at the data and the code and can tell all these stories. And I can't do any of that. For me, the show is really about just helping, pick and asking interesting questions and seeing what Kyle can come up with, because he's a sharp cookie, and I'm always genuinely excited to talk to him on the show.
Totally. And I actually went back to one article that he wrote, I believe a couple of months ago. It was about ICP price prediction, and he had 3 different predictions. And we've hit exactly what he said could happen. So he definitely has a good eye for, data, as you said.
Yeah, I'm just riding Kyle's coattails here. So he provides all the deep insight and analysis, and I jump in with jokes and digressions to try and keep the show fun.
It's definitely fun. And I wouldn't have thought that you guys had met, recently or online. I thought you were good friends because of the synergy that you guys have together.
Well, I really appreciate that. I mean, I think you guys obviously work on your synergy on the show as well. It's a lot of hard work. It is, and we talk about it. It's something we focus on, thinking about what do we want the tone of the show to be like? What do we want the experience to be like? I mean, I'm sure as a fellow podcaster, I love listening to podcasts, and you get this really unique experience with podcasts that are different than anything else, where you have this personal relationship with podcasts you listen to, where you're hearing them and you feel kind of close, like you're friends. And so we really try and bring that to people really having an interesting conversation, digging into the material. And I always think our best work is when we are actually actively discussing it. So we figure out what our topics are going to be. But when the gears are turning and we're really listening and kind of changing our opinions and bouncing off of each other, to me, that's where I feel like the really cool and interesting insights come out of what we're making.
Is there ever going to be a video version of your podcast? Because I would like to see you guys, the way you move, the way you interact with one another. It sounds a lot of fun when you're talking. That will give it even more immersion.
I think this is a trap, just trying to trick me into having to edit video like you do every week too. Maybe in the future, we'll see. I'm doing more and more video over time, I would say. So I just cut a video for my NFT project, which we're going to talk about in a second, and we'll play around with it. I'm open to it, but I really like focusing on the audio medium right now. I think to me, that's the core piece of it. We post them on YouTube, but I just put up, the album art. We're not recording the video. So we'll see. Maybe that's in the future, but we're excited to grow the project and the platform and do new things.
You mentioned your interaction with ICP was when you replied to a tweet from Dominic, but how exactly did you first hear about the internet computer?
I became kind of a degenerate day trader in crypto last year. And so that's how I first really became, involved with the internet computer and became aware of the ICP token. And as I was researching it, and especially as I was taking more seriously, what everyone said in the marketplace was amazing technology and the marketing really needs work, was what everyone said. And so when I had the opportunity to help work on it, to me, that was a problem set I was really excited by. It seemed like a really great opportunity to dig my teeth into it and really make some interesting content, because so much of the internet computer, it's got this utopian Gene Roddenberry Star Trek idealism about decentralizing the entire internet and replacing all these existing systems and providing this incredibly exciting, interesting toolkit combining cloud hosting and scalable blockchain together in a way that actually provides a platform for the future of the internet. And so I'm a bad liar and a bad salesman for things I don't really believe in. And so for me, it's a really great fit that I am genuinely so enthusiastic and excited about the platform. And it feels like the internet computer has so many opportunities and so many interesting projects being built on it that it's almost unfair, at the marketplace that ICP gets this many at bats. But I think there's a real possibility that we're going to have, like a SocialFi breakout hosted on ICP in this coming year. And it's just really exciting to see all of these nascent projects. It's early days and the future is so bright we need sunglasses. So I'm excited to see what comes next.
Totally. I remember when Lucian told me about ICP and what it does, when I understood that, and correct me if I'm wrong, when I understood that ICP's goal is to have the whole internet hosted on the blockchain. And that's when I thought that it's the tech behind it is incredible and it has, as you said, a very bright future.
That's exactly it. And so my TacoNFT project, it's like a little experiment in entrepreneur marketing on the platform. And so my background is as an entrepreneur. I worked in beer. I founded a brewery. I grew it from selling beer out of the trunk of my car to internationally distributed. And we raised money. And so much of that was community building and communication and demystifying. And I actually think there's a huge overlap with the crypto community in terms of we have this thing that we think is so special and so exciting. And it's about communicating and building examples and really helping show the world how exciting and how much opportunity there is. And so that's where my TacoNFT project came out of, was combining my love of building online communities with trying to highlight the toolkit that is so exciting to me on the internet computer, and my love of tacos, which is genuine and enthusiastic. And my family seems appreciative that I have a healthier creative outlet to talk about tacos, not just to my wife and baby.
I actually saw how excited you were in the video that you made about TacoNFTs. I was talking to my brother who has recently been to Mexico and he tried tacos and he was not that excited about it. Maybe where you live, tacos are way better than what he ate.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe, you gotta find them. You gotta find the right ones and kind of, it's like the internet computer, right? You gotta know where to look for the good stuff in a lot of, it's like NFT hunting, finding the exciting and the best ones. But yeah, it's funny. People joked, I can't believe you had so many photos of tacos to put in that video. And I was like, oh, that's not even close to all the photos. I have so many more taco photos to share with people. And so, but yeah, my enthusiasm is genuine and it's really exciting. And I like how everybody eats tacos. Rich people eat tacos, poor people eat tacos. They're very simple. They're all about ingredients. And I thought it was the way they're assembled struck me as a really exciting opportunity for generative art.
How did you get the idea to create an NFT collection about tacos? Was it because you were so passionate about it, or what was the reason behind it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's passionate about tacos. I wanted to make something, a small project built on passion that had really beautiful art and was community driven. And so what I settled on was tacos. So my background is in food. I love food. I love food communities. I love the way discussions about food bring people together. One of my favorite things about working in the ICP community is how international it is and how everyone is from everywhere. And every conversation I have always leads to, well, tell me about what you eat. What are the cool dishes, in your region, in your area? And I love the ability of breaking bread to cross borders and have people connect, I think is really, really powerful. And so that's sort of what my love of tacos and community building is what, created the project. So the idea is it's 10,000 tacos living on the internet computer. And the whole project is really designed to highlight and market the strength of the internet computer as a home for communities and entrepreneurship. And so I collaborated with a local artist here in Los Angeles. His name's Miguel. He goes by Taco Seidel on Twitter and Instagram. So he was born for this job. All of our art is hand illustrated. He was actually just telling me I'm getting final art delivery this week because our mint date is on Cinco de Mayo. The taco layers have expanded so much that we had to break into a separate Photoshop file because it was over a gigabyte of taco art was overflowing out of the file. So we've got different layers. So we have a background, tortilla, meat, salsa, cilantro and onion, and then a little side or flare. And all of those assets are completely hand-drawn. And then those are remixed together at Mint completely randomly. And then building a really transparent tokenomics model. So the price is 0.5 ICP because we wanted a taco-like price, really accessible, being really good for reaching outside of our existing NFT IC community and bringing new people in. And so, IC has the reverse gas fee and the on-chain storage. And those are two of the features that we're using that you can't get other places. So all of your taco art lives on the IC blockchain, not just the proof of purchase. And then more importantly is the reverse gas fee. So if I wanted to do these tacos on Ethereum, there's no point in charging $7 for them on Ethereum if you're going to have to pay $150 in gas fees. So I call it my cheap and cheerful approach to NFTs, doing inexpensive, fun, low stress, kind of low. It doesn't have to be, hey, there's a video game. Hey, there's a movie coming. We're delivering everything up front, so you get your tacos, you get the art, you get commercial rights to the art. And then we're using the IC technology stack to gate a private social network using our tacos. And so holding a taco in your IC wallet gives you access to the taco portal, which is a private social network where you can only post about tacos, which I'm very excited to be a part of. And that's powered by Discover. And so the whole thing is built on the IC system, highlighting the strengths of the IC system and promoting the internet computer as well while having fun. And my goal is to kind of open source my whole process so that everything's done with no code. So the actual NFTs are being generated by the new Entrepot self-mint tool. And then we are connecting into Discover to back up the social network. And so everything I'm doing is replicable in the future by other artists and creatives that want to make communities and projects on the internet computer.
Definitely. I think community management is a very important aspect so that an NFT collection is successful. How else are you building your community up?
So we're currently based in Discord, and we're reaching out to a lot of other NFT projects on ICP in order to get people on our whitelist. We're doing a 20% off discount, so it's only 0.4 ICP for our whitelist, which launches on Cinco de Mayo, and that's limit 5. And then when we go public, it'll just be opened all the way up. But the idea there is, again, tokenomics that align our incentives with our community incentives. And so getting a lot of people in the door, not having them be hoarded or anything like that. So in terms of where we're going to grow, we'll kind of see. I really want to take the sort of open-ended, let the community drive the direction these things go and be flexible and open about it. But we'd love to do shirts. We'd love to do swag. I'm getting some stickers printed right now. I keep threatening that when we sell out, maybe I'll get one of the tacos tattooed on my body. It would be a good one, but I haven't quite decided where to get that taco put quite yet.
Is there going to be like a legendary taco, or how are they going to be distributed?
Yeah, so we have so many traits and so many surprises up our sleeves. We've got all these odes to different projects and different aspects of the internet computer. We have a bunch of Easter eggs about tacos and Los Angeles taco culture and Mexican American culture. We have tons and tons and tons of different assets. So there's going to be a huge variety of rarities, ranging from the ultra rare to the everyday. But the idea there is, again, making every taco exciting and unique and really differentiate it. I'd have to run the math again, but I think our collection, would generate something like 100 million tacos, and then we're going to trim that down to just a svelte 10,000.
How many traits are there in total? Do you have any idea?
I'm going to have a better answer for that this afternoon when I get my final art from my artist. He kept adding things, so he texted me late last night that he's built out more layers than I was expecting. So I'm going to find out, but certainly well over 200 individual traits divided amongst, they're layered. So we've got background, tortilla, meat, salsa. So like, I think we're probably going to have something like 20 or 30 different backgrounds. We've got like 7 or 8 different tortillas. We've got about 30 to 40 different meats. We've got 50 to 100 sides that go with it. So just a huge variety, and then ranging out a whole bunch of different rarities. So there'll be a bunch of individual rare traits in each category. And then obviously when those line up, they'll create really interesting and exciting combinations. And so all of our tacos are going to be randomly created at Mint as well. So everything that I've been sharing, I've been manually assembling myself in Photoshop. But I'm excited to see what the randomized tacos spit out from the Mint, because we don't know exactly what those are going to look like yet. And I'm excited to see what they are. And then, we're also being really mindful of, again, transparency and doing right by our community. We're doing a very limited number of holdbacks, and all of those holdbacks are completely random as well. So there will be no cherry picking of rarities by ownership at all. They need to be out in the community. That's where they belong. The tacos want to be set free. That's our whole approach, is simplicity in our model and transparency in our approach.
I think that's great, and I think the community really appreciates you guys like being transparent with it. You mentioned working with an artist to do, like, how did you two meet and started working together?
So I met Miguel through the local Los Angeles taco scene. So we actually have a newspaper in LA called LA Taco, which is like an indie local paper that covers LA social issues as well as taco related news, and sort of has a focus on Mexican American culture and Los Angeles culture. And so I know some people that write there, and I asked one of them for a referral to an artist that loves tacos as much as I do. And he introduced me to Miguel, and Miguel was like, oh yeah, I was made for this. He's got his own taco brand and he makes taco shirts. So we've got a whole bunch of him. I kept on emphasizing Miguel, like, I want soul, I want the art to like really feel handmade, and it comes from a point of view and comes from a person. And he's really done that. So he poured a lot of himself into the art itself, which I think really comes through.
I love that the colors are bright and really stand out. When they will auto-generate, like they will create like some combinations that look wild that you didn't even think about doing because of how our brains work.
Right. And then you see it and you're like, oh, that's brilliant the way these pieces fit together. Yeah. Again, just trying to focus on that fun aspect of it too. So I'm so excited. And I mean, honestly, what I've been sharing in terms of artwork publicly is like 20% of what we have. We have so much more. If anything, I'm really trying to undersell it, because when people mint, I just want that surprise and delight of being like, oh, I had no idea this was coming. So like, for example, I'll give you here's a little alpha I haven't shared anywhere. So I reached out to a ton of different NFT projects on the platform, and our artist drew piñatas of a bunch of them. So we transformed different NFT projects into piñatas that'll be, those will be rare traits that we'll be showing around. But I can't share them quite yet, but oh, they're so pretty. I'm very excited.
Do you have any particular like partnerships planned?
I've been working a bunch with the ICPuppies community this week and really enjoying working with them. They've got a fantastic community. They're really focused on interaction. And so we're doing like a Discord exchange with them. And then obviously we're in touch a lot with Discover. We're doing some stuff with the OG Metals group. Again, it's about collaboration. It's about raising up the community. Our project, I view very much not as in competition with other projects. It's supporting them and trying to break new ground in the NFT space and create new opportunities for other entrepreneurs and artists in the community. So we love collaboration. People are welcome to get in touch. I spent a good chunk of last week photoshopping district orbs into tacos, putting salsa on top of floating orbs. That was really fun. So again, just trying to kind of create fun, interesting spaces for collaboration in the community.
When we talked with DK Lord 89, like he was saying the same thing, that everybody should be collaborating with everybody and growing each and every one of us up. And I think it's our responsibility as projects, to reach out and to do stuff with one another.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to DK Lord. I love his approach to his projects. His art is so fun and personal and exciting. And I think it's a great example of how the community you build infuses the NFTs with meaning in a way that the art doesn't always do that. So, to me, I look at like his OG medals and I just see such incredible success for creating $1 million worth of NFT assets out of thin air that he airdropped to the community and then building IC bucks on that. I want more people like DK Lord in our community. I'm thrilled to have him here. He's awesome.
Actually, he did an incredible job with his project. The four of us could do a podcast together. Somebody, me, you, and Kyle, and DK Lord, maybe someday. That would be interesting.
Let's get the whole gang together. That sounds great.
Speaking of that, beside TacoNFTs, what else do you do on the internet computer?
I mean, I've got just a bunch of marketing projects, in the works. So we talked about my podcast. As you know, that podcast, so much more work than anyone thinks it's going to be. So that podcast, we record for like 2 to 3 hours. Takes me a couple hours to edit it. We also build extensive show notes and show art. So you and I definitely agree on this, that if you're going to do it, you got to do it with a professional level of polish on it, which means it's a big chunk of work. So working on the podcast. One of the other things I'm working on right now, I'm especially excited about, is I have a little video project that's coming out. So it's a 15-second television style advertisement for the internet computer. And it is set in a made up bar called ETH Bar. And I hired a friend of mine that's a director and a real actress to work us. So we got real Hollywood talent involved in this. And it's the premise of the advertisement is it's set in a bar called ETH Bar, where a woman gets surprised by gas fees attached to her cocktail. And so I'm really excited about that project, and that should be coming in the next few weeks.
Yeah, so you think you order a coffee, but you pay like 10 more coffees for gas. Yeah, that's definitely brilliant.
Exactly. In my role as Hollywood producer, I got to make up a fake receipt showing the surprise on there. But again, just trying to come up with other interesting ways to communicate and talk about the platform. So other things, I've been really involved with the NNS. I recently had the first proposal that I submitted to the NNS passed as well, which I'm very excited about. So that was my sustainability proposal. That was based on my research, wanting to have the internet computer have an answer for what our electrical usage and sustainability, really looks like on the internet computer. The talking point of how much electricity Bitcoin and Ethereum and all proof of work systems use is a real stumbling block for mainstream adoption of crypto. And the internet computer does not have that problem. And I want that a marketing weapon in my toolkit to go out and do battle in the press for how great the internet computer is. And so I submitted and we debated and then passed with resounding success a proposal to have the internet computer do a third-party audit to get a real information about exactly what our electrical usage looks like, as well as add a dashboard panel to show us live data about what it's using. And so just, again, trying to create transparency with the internet computer and its sustainability footprint for the future. And again, that's a great example of the kind of thing that I love about the internet computer, where the NNS is one giant DAO, and I felt like this is something the internet computer could improve at and do better. And so I submitted a forum post, which then turned into a proposal, which then passed. And so the ability to be a part of a community that is so actively engaged in how do we better ourselves, how do we grow this thing, is really exciting. And so I love that I can both market it, but also have a hand in helping set a positive direction for the platform.
For people that are not familiar with the internet computer, like, anyone is able to submit a proposal to the NNS, and it gets voted by everybody who stakes their ICP. We saw the problem with the spam proposals, and I saw that you and Kyle have discussed about it. What is your take?
My take is evolving over time. Kyle and I have spent a lot of time on this. I'm hosting a weekly Twitter space this week on Wednesday. I'm not sure if this will be out by then or not, but we'll be hosting like a roundtable to talk about all these issues. I'm kind of coming down with a bit of a hot take now on this issue. I'm wondering if we should remove the incentives for spamming the NNS. So how do we manage the NNS to get the best outcomes in terms of we want highly engaged people that are invested in the system, making good choices for everyone's benefit to grow the platform for the future. One of the ideas I'm toying with and still figuring out is maybe instead of getting paid per vote, we switch it to a system where we really embrace the follow neurons. And if you vote on 75% of proposals over a week, you get your maximum reward. And whether or not you vote on any one governance or another governance doesn't impact it. So we change the rules of the game in order to make it less appealing as a spam target and, what I call the governance arbitrage opportunity. The internet computer is complicated, right? The internet computer has a lot going on, and the NNS is complicated. I think it's one of the IC's superpowers, but I think this is a good opportunity to simplify the NNS and participation in it. That I think people should be able to get the maximum reward out of the NNS without living and dying with every vote. I think passive participation in the NNS may be a good thing. And I'm kind of open. Like I said, I'm a little open on this topic, and I'm interested in helping lead a conversation to find consensus. We see there's a problem, and we see we want to change. And how do we move forward in a direction that is good for the NNS and is good for the investors and good for bringing new people into the platform? And so how do we enable a conversation to get to those? That's what I'm really interested in. The exact particulars, that's where smarter people than me, like Kyle and Wenzel, really come in with helping craft that. But it's an exciting time, and it's such a difference from Ethereum or Bitcoin, which is really challenging to upgrade and move into the future. The internet computer's ability to be future-proofed and really respond to the challenges of the day, that's really exciting for building something long term. And that's that utopian vision of the future that makes me so excited.
And I think it's good that this problem popped up now when we're still so early than later in time. But I'm a little bit torn about whether people should be rewarded just to passively follow another neuron and then receive rewards. I think in my mind it's like there is somebody in the government, say for example, and he gets the salary without having to be there and actually express their vote. That's one of my thoughts.
So you want me to counter this here a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
So similar to the United States, you have a representative democracy. So it's not a direct democracy where you don't vote on, every law that's coming up in your government. And similarly with me, California does have direct democracy, but it's bad and I don't recommend it. And we won't go down that proposition discussion. But generally speaking, you vote for someone else and that person votes and represents your interests. And so that's how, it simplifies it. And the idea is also it kind of shields the politicians from the ability to make an unpopular vote necessarily. It all gets homogenized over time into their record. I think the follow system is extremely clever. And I'm not sure I agree that you should get more rewards for voting manually than you should get for voting following a neuron. I think the system is designed to allow you to put trust into other people and follow them. I do think we need more people following more named neurons. I think that's good. I'm excited about there's more it's splitting apart into a little more of a parliamentary system where you can follow different parties with different groups. And I think that's really exciting to have more voices and more diversity and more choice. But I think if 100% of your voting takes place via follow neurons, I see no difference with that than there is with manually voting in terms of your ability to participate. If DFINITY Pill sets up a named neuron and I decide I like your attitude and I just want to follow you, there's no functional difference. What has happened now is because you get rewards based on a per vote basis, it's created these differences with the governance because people that follow DFINITY or ICA aren't voting on those. It's creating that delta where people are creating that opportunity, which is what's created the whole spam situation where it's profitable to spam the NNS. So my suggestion is maybe we definitely want to solve the spam NNS problem, but what I think would be really helpful is a really strong collection of named neurons that are really duking it out at the top levels. And then people vote by following those neurons or voting on individual proposals and create a healthy, sustainable ecosystem. And this is something Kyle and I touched on. What we don't want is apathy in the system. We want people really, really engaged. But I think the follow neuron system is a very good way of doing that. So I'm excited to have this conversation and more conversations about it. And again, this is the thing I love about the NNS is you and I don't have to agree to say we want to get to the same place, which is what is best for the NNS. And so much of conversations in the ICP space are meritocracies. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's about what's the best idea. And I don't really care where it comes from. Let's just get it there, And I love that about the internet computer because it's so different than a lot of other spaces I've worked in.
The only proposal that passed from the spam proposals was the one about like every 6 months or something, you need to refollow the neurons, which I think that was good.
That was a Kyle and Wenzel, proposal. I worry that it makes things more complicated too. And so, but again, I'm not interested in who's right or wrong, just what's best, right? So I'm going to be in the NNS all the time. I'm very active. I don't think I'm the target audience. And in fact, I think we're in too deep in a lot of ways, right? We live and breathe. We think about this. We're both recording podcasts. We're talking about this all the time. I want to make the NNS a really appealing investment opportunity for people that don't care about any of these things. And that's kind of a perspective that I think maybe hasn't been represented enough, is how do we make this an appealing investment for people outside the space that don't care and then can take advantage of the follow neuron system so they don't have to be engaged every single day.
Yeah, that's actually a very good idea because the more ICP is staked, that's more ICP off marketplaces, so less liquidity. And as I believe Kyle said in his articles, he based his price targets on supply and demand. And as you said, like the more ICP is staked, the better for the overall community.
And Kyle and I don't always agree on this, but that's what makes for good podcasting, right? Like we want some different opinions. And I often find in talking to Kyle, my opinion changes. And I think that's what's so fun about podcasting. And I think, what I see happen on your show too, is you get to dig in a lot deeper than you would get to in, a quick YouTube video. You get to really see those gears turn and, how the sausage gets made, which I think is very exciting.
Yeah, and actually, you changed my opinion now. I think, no, for real, like having more people stake, like making the staking more appealing to people, I think is a great thing. And they shouldn't have like the burden of having to vote every day because maybe they don't care, as you said. And they should make it more appealing to those people as to take ICP off of marketplaces.
Yeah. And then the question just becomes, how do we get there? And that's where, again, smarter people than me are going to help craft this solution. But it's an exciting conversation. And I like that we really get to so much of crypto and ICP lets you put theory into practice, right? Philosophy and economic theory, it all comes together when you get to put tokenomics into the project. And it's live, it's live fire ammunition here. Like there's real money and there's real stakes. And it's very, very exciting. It's this living, breathing organism that's like growing up. I'm raising a baby at home too. And the NNS throws up on me an awful lot less than the real baby does. But it's, exciting to watch these systems boot up and see where they're going.
Let's get back to NFTs a little bit. Steve mentioned like a couple of days ago, I believe last week, that self-minting is coming to Entrepot. And I believe it's going to make it a lot harder for new projects to stand out. What was your plan with marketing it? And like, do you have any advice for new projects?
You're looking at it. Sitting here talking to you is a part of my marketing plan. It's reaching out to the community. People already interested in IC and excited about the IC NFT space. That's our core community. And then part of my secret plan is to reach out to food people and food media and food communities as an example model of here's other ways you can build communities to, again, pitching to people outside the blockchain space at all, where we can do a piece of education about what an NFT is and focus on the utility of what it can offer a community instead of just being, trying to reach beyond its drawing of an ape, right? You can do so much more with it. And so what I really advise people is that an NFT project is first and foremost, it's always community building. That's the base. That is, you go nowhere without community. And then it's a technology project where you get to apply these tokenomics and its software. And then finally, it's an art project after that. And all three of these things are important, but you have to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because if you just have cool art and no interesting tokenomics model and no community, you're not going anywhere. But if you have an amazing community, you could overcome other problems. Maybe your art isn't so great. If you have a community to build on, it doesn't matter because people infuse meaning into the art, by way of doing it. So that's my biggest piece is huge commitment, huge long term. It's all about people. It's about finding amazing mods. I can't do this alone. I've got a fantastic mod community. And these are all people that came out of IC that liked what we were building and were excited to have fun and join in on it.
Your point is great. Like we saw what happened with I don't remember the exact name of the project, the one with the baby mutant apes, I believe. So they had good art, but then like zero community and
they also had stolen art, which really is kind of a problem too. So, I encourage people, I think building and riffing on other ideas, I get it, but come up with something new and original. So I think, honestly, the self mint and the fact that the doors are going to get opened to a lot more products of a lot more varying quality is a good thing. That you should be a great project to get my ICP in your program. I think it's a highly competitive space out there, and you need to give people a reason to get in there, and especially depending on price point. So I've been very focused on making sure that I feel like I am wildly over delivering at my half an ICP price point. That there's a lot of projects out there charging 7, 8 ICP, and they're promising a lot more at a lot higher degree of difficulty. And so making sure that there's a really strong match between your price and your volume as well. I think volume is a big one to think about. And then just be aware that it's a small nascent community we have in IC. It's not an endless pile of money, and people can smell cash grabs a million miles away. People have very fine-tuned bullshit detectors in this space. And so again, that's where I fall with the radical transparency, being really honest with people about exactly what we're doing. Because if you don't lie to people, you don't have to keep track of what you told people. And so, with the way we approached it was I wrote up the whole website and I got feedback from my mods and the leaders in my community space. And then we got that website online on day one. And so I could say to all of our mods, when there are questions, this is our Bible. We go to the website. We make sure we're all giving the same answers and we're all on the same page. And if our answers change, which they do over time, we update our website and then we can all go back to that again. So again, we're just like really trying to make sure our communication is strong, the meaning is strong, what we're trying to do is strong, because we all lead very busy lives and no one has time to unravel a project isn't of immediate appeal to them. My advice to people trying to build projects is why? Why are you doing this? Why is this interesting? Why should anyone care? Where's the passion? Where's the meaning? And then making sure that you balance those scales of promises and price and brand and quality. All of these things go together. And so I think if you are doing all of those things, it doesn't matter who else is in the marketplace. It's like being in a movie out in the, it doesn't matter who else you open against, because if you're an amazing movie, 6 weeks later, you're still packing theaters, right? And so quality above all else, make stuff you're really excited about and passionate about. And definitely it's good that I want to talk about tacos 12 hours a day, because that's what I'm doing now, right? It's all taco talk all the time.
And I think the way you're doing stuff, being so transparent and doing it like for the community, I think it really makes your project stand out. And it's really important for people to see that, you're real. You're not just a name.
Yeah, fully doxed. I've got my LinkedIn profile linked on there. I've been on Twitter since like 2008. So I've been around the docs block a couple times here. And again, I think that also makes a huge difference too. Not saying you can't be successful if you don't dox yourself, but you should have a really good reason why you're not doxing yourself if you're not doing it, and other avenues of building that trust. And doxing alone isn't enough either. It's all of these things.
So can you give us like the full details about the launch? When's it going to happen? Where?
So we are actively whitelisting right now. Please follow us on Twitter. I'm at ICP Jesse. The tacos are at tacos_NFTs with an S at the end. But you can find these linked on either of them. We have a Discord you can click through and join there. We're actively whitelisting people. We have a strict no grinding policy in our whitelist. We don't want people tagging a ton of people. We don't want you doing a ton of work. It's about fun. It's about community. Tacos only take a couple minutes to eat, and we approach things the same way here. And so We're whitelisting people now. Whitelist sale opens at 2 p.m. UTC on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th at 0.4 ICP, limit 5 for all whitelisted wallets. We're going to have a 24-hour mint because minting should be a relaxed, fun process. It doesn't need to be a stampede. We want every person that wants a taco at that whitelist price should be able to get one. And so nice big 24-hour chill time to get whitelisted, get in there, mint. Then public mint opens same time, 2 p.m. UTC on the 6th. Price will be 0.5 ICP, 10,000 tacos total. We're holding back 500 total with a limit to 100 airdrops because experience of minting is such an important educational one too, that we want to, again, it's like trying to get in new blood and new people involved in the system, and having that experience of minting a taco and seeing what you get, I think is really fun.
Did you think as an utility for the tacos, because you're a huge taco fan, do you think to go to taco restaurants and like make a deal with them, and like whoever has this taco NFT is gonna have a discount in like that chain of taco shops?
So great question. I think the crypto projects that bridge the real world and the crypto world that is a challenge. That is really, really hard. It's especially appealing in the food space for sure. It's something I'm interested in, but for right now, we are definitely a no on that. And that's because we're selling tacos to an international community of people everywhere. And so it's important to me that all taco holders are kind of treated the same. So I don't want to set up something that's only available if you were to buy a taco and I set up, hey, you can get a deal on this taco anywhere in California. That doesn't do you any good at all, where you are. And so for now, we're a no, because I want everything to be available to everyone that holds the tacos completely. But it would be exciting to do something like that in the future.
I think that would be cool.
What I would say is the interaction of the meat space and the crypto space and bridging those two, I'm very, very interested in, and somewhere I want to go. And I'm excited for, I think the tacos could be a playground for playing around with those sort of things. And I also specifically think crypto and restaurants offer a really, really unique opportunity at the intersection of community building too, where a lot of small restaurants, family-owned restaurants, could be viewed as kind of like supporting artists in that way. And so I think something that's sort of like a Patreon or memberful for restaurants, but built on the crypto stack, loyalty programs that use the blockchain. I think there's some really interesting work that could be done there too that I would like to go in the future. But for today, these tacos have very modest aims, and we're gonna overachieve them.
So it's not a definite no.
Nothing's ever a no, right? We'll see what our community thinks, and we'll try it out. I'm willing to try anything, and like we were talking about, I don't mind being wrong as long as I can change my mind to be right in the future. You'll have to tell me what the best taco stands in your neighborhood are, and we'll reach out to them as well.
I actually think like the only taco that we have in here must be Taco Bell, if that's even a taco.
Well, what's been interesting, because again, it's such an international community. In our Discord, we've had a lot of conversations about what the local taco is. So talking about how the banh mi is the taco of Vietnam, and talking about, doner kebab and shawarma are the tacos of the Middle East. So I suspect there is some street food local to you that is the local taco that would be of interest to me too.
We have shawarma and we have kebab. And I think those are actually pretty traditional in here, like big ones with like a lot of stuff in them. Is that considered a taco? Like it doesn't have to be like the U-shaped thing?
I mean, I would not begin to say that I'm an expert that's allowed to chime in on what is a taco or not a taco, but we've taken a broad, it's a big taco tent in our community, and we have no dogma about saying, yeah, that can be a taco too. Everyone's welcome. So, I mean, we went so far as to say, you could kind of think of like a Vietnamese bonsai crepe, very taco-like in nature too. And then we've talked about like Xi'an, Chinese, tingling lamb, quote, burgers are very taco-like. Pork belly steam buns are very taco-like. So there's a lot of good. I'm looking at TripAdvisor. I'm seeing some recommended taco spots in your area. spot called Maya Fresh. Has 5 stars on TripAdvisor is all I'm saying.
After the discussion with you, I think I will look into tacos and I'll order one. I will order one tomorrow and I'll send you a picture of it.
This is my whole plan, is to get everyone in the IC community to eat tacos, and then everyone in the IC community feels fulfilled and happy and invests more in the NNS and makes better projects. So I'm just this is my secret goal, to raise the quality of everything via happiness, via tacos. So thanks for being a part of my plan.
Yeah, for real. No, you're really good at convincing people. Tomorrow I will order a taco and I'll post it on Twitter. It better be a beautiful one. Yeah.
That's all I want, is some retweet fodder that I can turn into content. So I really appreciate it.
Definitely. So is there like anything else you would like to add about the collection?
No, I think that's it. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoy your podcast. I'm stoked to be here. And, it's very fun interacting with the IC community and seeing what people are working on. And, being a part of a space that is so vibrant is very exciting for me.
Definitely. And it's been a pleasure to have you here. And I'll definitely be watching you and Kyle's podcast as well, because I feel there is a lot to learn. Even like the technical stuff and like the way you guys talk, like you have my admiration for the way you articulate yourself. Definitely looking forward to, learn some of that. And looking forward for the taco mint.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing this Neurotic DFINITY Pill crossover episode. This is great.
Awesome. So it's Cinco de Mayo.
Launching on Entrepot, Cinco de Mayo, 2 p.m. UTC time. 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'll be getting up nice and early that day.
Cool. So this was the podcast with ICP Jesse. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, click the bell notification icon, and share the video with a friend. My name is Alex, and you just took the DFINITY Pill, and I'll see you next time.